MV3 Traders Futures Trade Radio is brought to you by The Ultimate Trader's Guide, your one-stop shop for the most valuable income-producing information on the internet. Go to ultimatetradersguide.net to learn more. Link in the description below.
Record some ambience and put it in this track.
All right, what's happening? Hope everybody's week went well. Close out this Friday. What's going on, Origin? Chat. All right, let's get this going. Let's bring up the. Also, before we get started, just a reminder of the Sierra chart giveaway sponsored by Edge Clear. Anybody interested in getting the potential to win 6 months of Sierra chart for free? The link to sign up for that is in the chat. All right, there we go. There's our volume check. Let's jump into this pre-market awareness. A little bit of an ATR decline compared to yesterday. Of course, we're not seeing as much volume as we saw yesterday. Yesterday was a ton of participation yesterday, as we had some much anticipated correction. Almost brought me back to one of my daily mechanical levels, the 20 Keltner channel. Let's see what we get. Just under 100K right now for the volume. Nothing significant like calendar wise to look at this morning. Be just trading, so it'll be interesting to see how the day plays out after that, as we take a little pause from our all-time high running back towards the all-time high. So far we're climbing inside the bull zone from the power range perspective. Yesterday's low is 547 and a half. Keeping my eye on that if we make it back down there. We're kind of just, going on a supply run. I don't have to do not a whole lot to take notes of today. Or for right now. Check out the rest of the market. Yesterday was interesting also with YM kind of did its own thing. I think YM was the only one that kind of traded opposite of the rest. I don't think RTY. Yeah. So everything else was like pretty much selling off yesterday. Until a cheaper inventory. YM was more interested. I guess they had plenty of inventory. Dropping that off to supply. Let's see if we have any differences today. I think everything looks like they're pretty much, we got a shared sentiment across the board. So YM did kind of take a strong little dip there, leading into these pre-market hours, like through the London session. this up on the socials. Got about 5 minutes before the open. Of course, I do screenshots. If you want to see the screenshots, just head on over to. You can check it on Twitter or on Discord. No need to put that here since this is video. Wouldn't make a lot of sense. Volume gaps, got a pretty significant volume gap right here above PR plus 3. In that 5,680, the 15,680 range. Our session high is holding and that 7 right above 710. Got our low off of PR minus 1, say roughly 560, 550. Another volume gap right here. PR plus 1, just below 620. A little bit of spotty value areas. I think that's good enough for my places I want to mark off. 2 minutes before the open. already did all of my other pre-market checklist stuff before I started the stream, so I'm ready to roll. Trying to get my system right for these live stream days. Next we want if I can talk. This looks like we're going to go on a healthy inventory run at the open. Fill in some of these gaps. As usual, just going to be mostly not going to be too active on the mic unless I see something significant, so I can focus on what I need to be doing. Just waiting for my setup. Now we're just taking care of business. Bringing supply back inside of A1. Plenty of volatility to get things started. Making our way back to the overnight high. Get a supply as we lift the overnight high. It's all happening mechanically. Yeah, our volume is climbing pretty fast too, as I'm seeing a lot of participation as we get things started for RTH. I'm just staying patient, waiting for my setup. I fine-tuned my setup a lot over the last couple of weeks. I got there just from, a lot of execution, and through all the execution, discovering what I like, what I don't like as much, and just picking out what I like the most. I'm just gonna stick to that for a while, stay disciplined at that. When I get it, take advantage of it, make sure I'm pulling the trigger when I'm supposed to. focus. Stop talking too much. That open, we got some inventory that we're coming back into. Got a strong inventory run coming back into that opening inventory at 560 or 660. We're gonna get a mechanical response off of that. Areas of inventory that we just wiped through pretty smoothly. Interesting participation for a Friday. Say that kind of shows you that it doesn't matter. Like the days are. People have ideas. Even I had ideas about the days of the week. And they really don't matter as much. right now we set up a pretty wide shop, like overall, just looking at the bigger picture. A supplier are at the session high, around 720, and got this inventory at 660. And there's a bunch of like little shops in between that, little areas where we set up shop, but we didn't stay there for long. We're kind of just ranging out right here, slowly lifting the supply and inventory in this little range between 680. Well, it's not even a little range, that's a pretty big range too, between 680 and got inventory around just below 660. These orders coming in quickly. I think it's been a while since I've seen an A period with this much action. I said before, so much for the Dead Fridays theory. And it's ready to run the supply or the inventory, especially inventory this month. It's been running it strongly. It's sliced right through all previous points of interest for our buyers. tell quickly this isn't necessarily the best price action. It's funny because I've been waiting for this price action for a while, this kind of price action for a while. Then I went to the more calm strategy that I use, and this price action isn't really the best fit for that strategy. But it's good to get that awareness quickly. I've had before where I didn't, I would say I didn't accept that reality quickly enough and ended up taking a lot of losses, unnecessary losses. If I would have just went ahead and trusted what I was being aware to. But all of that is learning experiences. Just the cost of learning. And if you stick with it, it can be well worth it over time. We're still holding up that overall. Oh no, we did drop the inventory down to that 630 area. It's kind of waked out. Bring the price back to that previous inventory around that 660 area. We're not slowing down, still keeping up the heat. Nothing I would make any trading decisions off of, but they're showing a lot of potential liquidity on the heat map at 870. The only reason I'm even paying attention to that is because I know other people are. I don't use that for trading. Haven't done enough work on that yet. Like I like to, if I see something, if I want to study something, I need to study it for a while. before I start using it for trading decisions. So right now we got a nice little supply area in that pretty much it's a pretty wide range between, like, let's just call it 634 to 642-ish. Some mechanical response off of A1. Still getting supply responses there. We got about 5 minutes before B period. Volume it's climbing to 190K, 187 right now. We're not slowing down, so it shouldn't take us long to get to 190. Just for fun, I will make a bet that we get above 200 before B period. Now again, as I say stuff like that, I definitely got to make sure to put that disclaimer in there. This is not trading advice. Nothing I say should be used for you to make trading decisions. Trade your strategy. Trust yourself over everything else. Just here sharing my opinions and my perspective. Volume is at 190K. Appreciate everybody for hitting the like button. We might be at a record. Of course, definitely appreciate you for coming and tuning in. I'm at my B-Force break, so you know I'm not even really looking for a trade at this point. We're still just quickly hitting supply and inventory, the quick supply and inventory zones. Right now we're trading inside of, we're back at A1. Potentially setting up some supply here, but I am seeing a lot of participation in the 640 to 636 range. One narrative I can build off of this heat map thing that I mentioned earlier. They can be showing that too. There's a lot of orders out there on the books, so they could be showing that to get people interested to, you know, submitting their buy orders, right? And of course that's going to create stops, and could be why we're running the inventory so quickly, just eating through all of those stops. While wholesale slowly drops inventory, get that cheaper inventory back, opening up our value area, but we're still, so I mentioned that where we had volume drop off around PR plus 1 area, 620 area. We filled one of the gaps in that area and we're holding inventory there. So I'll be looking to see if we can make it below 620. Right now we're holding the 626, 625-ish, 624 inventory zone. We're going to drop the inventory. About 20 seconds before B period. Let's see where I'll be on my bet. 196K. I'm going to lose that bet. Just at 196K before coming into B period. I'm looking to see what the volatility does here. I got close though. Just a couple thousand from my 200 mark. A little bit of a volatility spike. Not much, nothing really to be concerned about or to really care too much about. Overall, it's still maintaining the same tempo, so I would say that's not really much of a B-force response. Still conducting business as usual. So we made it below that 620 gap. It's more like 616, 612. Getting further away from that value area, that A period value area. It's really the value area for the session. Still got a ways to go before our session low. That's not anything that I would be giving too much attention to for now. But with NQ, you know, it doesn't take NQ much to cover a lot of space in a short period of time. We're across the 200K mark in terms for volume. Volatility picking up for cheaper inventory. Nothing has changed for our heat map. I'm gonna want to go back and re-record. This is a good data to work on some skill development. Replay it for some skill development. Work on that reaction time, because we're quickly making our way down to the session low. Wouldn't be surprised to see a front run off of this much strength. Of course, I don't know what's going to happen. Just have to wait for it, see where it happens. Could be getting that front run now, but I personally kind of think it's too early for a front run. But I mean, our last supply response was, a significant distance away. So anybody that went short up there, instead in that 620 area, 640 area, I see a lot of reasons to go ahead and cover here. So there is a bit of a front run type of action there. Back into lifting the supply, They have a quick supply pause right there around 604 in that range, and we're lifting that to 614. It's our typical 10-point pivot points. Because one thing I have witnessed about NQ over time is that it likes 10-point ranges. Now that's not 100% thing, but it does like. There's a lot of times where it likes to they like to conduct business in 10-point ranges. So of course, if I can see that, everybody can see that. So let's just say, Wholesale has it as a mechanism within their strategy. I'm not going to stay consistent to that all the time because I'm just showing my hand, right? But then you can also extend that to 20 points to look for like rotations. But then it's identifying where that 10-point point of reference is. That's the challenge in it. You're just looking at that as a way of reading the structure around the price action for that day. So we brought supply back up to 623. Making our way back to 600, back into A1. Finding some quick inventory around 608. Nice little slingshot structure there, right above 600. Looks like I'm done for the day. I'm just not getting the setups that I would want. Took 2 losses and 1 win, 1 winner. I'm okay with that. And I was just tapped into one of the Discord. They was on the voice channel yesterday that I'm in. And I lost what I was gonna say that quick. What was I gonna say? When that happens, I had a thought that I wanted to share, and it just, when I was trying to lead up into the thought, forgot what I was leading into, what I was trying to lead in, what I was trying to say. Well, maybe to come back. Got our shorts excited for the session low. Now we done brought supply all the way back up to the 640 area. Near the VWAP. And we're going to front run the VWAP. On this busy Friday, Wholesale has a lot of let's call it participation to conduct their business and meet their quotas, get this, move this price around. At 235K for our volume. while this price has been like whipping around a lot, I'm still seeing it being mechanical. And I got that thought as I bring up wholesale, and just like with, let's just say, retail arbitrage as a business. If you have that as a business to where you go out and you find things at cheap prices, find your inventory at cheap prices so that you can sell it back to the market as supply. Once you develop that system, you'll want to automate as much of that system as you can. So this is what creates the mechanics or the mechanical responses that I'm always, mentioning and saying how price is mechanical here or there. And we have these quantitative areas that wholesale can use to automate their systems. And then on the chart that we can reference that, we can see that as mechanical areas where we should expect some sort of response. That doesn't mean that price. So if I'm looking at, let's just say, the 200 SMA or the VWAP, let's just use the VWAP. And let's say if I'm looking at the VWAP and seeing what kind of mechanical responses I get from the VWAP, for one, I'm not looking at it as a singular point, even though it's printing as a singular price on my chart. I'm looking at it as a range, so that way I can see when we're going to front run that range. I'm not surprised if price hits the VWAP and then goes maybe like 10 or 15 points above or below it. It's a range, if I'm coding a system, I'm not going to use that specific price. I'm going to use that specific price, and then I'm gonna have like a variable in there to where to prices around that one specific price to where I'm interested in conducting business. Then I can code that using that quantitative information, and we're gonna run that system for a certain period of time, a specified period of time. And then me as retailers, I'm looking at the charts and watching the price action and watching it print. When we come into those areas, I can see the mechanics of that system in play. And then with that, now I can build systems around that. I can build my own systems around that. And the way that it is now, you can even automate the systems just like, the bigger money does. The lower your budget is, the harder it is to automate certain systems, but it can be done. Because you got to have that buffer zone. Well, you don't have to. You can do it however you want to do it, but it helps to have that buffer. So you need the capital to be able to have that buffer and to take on that risk. Because at that point, you're basically just following what the mechanics are doing. So if the mechanics has a wide buffer, it helps you to have a wide buffer. Now, where we have also the benefit is we don't have to be heavy in this market to have a significant outcome. And we can use the micros, especially got the benefit of the micros now. And we don't have to move as much size as those bigger participants do. Like wholesale has a lot of size that they have to move every single day. So much bigger than what us as retail does. So even though if we're gonna follow these automated systems and build trading systems around our own systems around that, we have the benefit of being able to be quick in and out of the market with small size and keeping our risk, maintaining a small risk profile. Once it can take a lot of work to develop that system because like I say, great trades come from within, and it's always going to be best to create your own system. That's how you're going to get the best results. And that takes a lot of work. You got to be willing to put the work in. I don't know how many times I see a lot of these social media platforms where people are pretty much asking questions where underneath it all you can see that they're not really wanting to, not trying to put the work in. They're trying to avoid putting the work in. But yeah, you can ask the questions from other experienced people, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're not putting the work in for yourself, you're gonna keep repeating that cycle of needing to ask people what they're doing and trying to probe and see what everybody else is doing like there's a secret to it. And the only secret to it is you got to put the work in. It's not really a secret. You're just ignoring the same, you keep asking those questions, you're just ignoring the fact that you got to put the work in for yourself so you can find your edge, and then which will allow you to be in this market for as long as you want to be and get what you're trying to get out of this market. So on that note, I'm at the end of my session. Time for me to get my number, so I'm gonna go ahead and close it up for the day. Appreciate everybody for coming through. It's another reminder, if you're interested in getting Sierra chart, the opportunity to get Sierra chart for 6 months for free, that link is in the chat. And on that note, hope you have a good weekend, a good rest of your day. And until next time, trade it easy.